Now comes the part where we see if what's actually happening is actually happening. We gonna keep a count. You know what I'm saying? Because funny things is going on in the world of YouTube as far as folks' views. I don't know what it is, but we're gonna get to the bottom of it. Definitely gonna get to the bottom of it. But we're also going to do these reviews. So I'm gonna wait till a few more of y'all get in here and we will get started. And I'm back. Don't know what it was or wasn't. Don't know what it is or isn't. Um, but I'm here. Y'all say hi, be nice and drop a little something, something in the comments if you're feeling it. If you ain't, understandable. Some of us live through this, some of us don't live through it. And as far as the deep dive, I got a classic, actually, a couple of classics coming up, along with the old school stuff. I got some old school Luke Cage Power Man here, issue 19, and issue 20. We're gonna be talking about that. Cottonmouth. Now, I don't know if any of y'all remember uh the critically acclaimed uh Luke Cage Netflix series, but his first protagonist, Cornell Cottonmouth. Cornell Cottonmouth was a lot more dangerous in the comics than he was on the Netflix series. Him and Luke Cage got into like a physical, you know what I'm saying? And he must have had some juice, you know what I mean? He must have been juiced up because he was able to, you know what I'm saying, go at it with Luke Cage for a few minutes. So those were the days, where it was just black guys chilling and having big afros and fighting and being bulletproof. Well, at least that's what Luke Cage was doing. But like I said, y'all slide on in here, holla at your boy. I will be here. Matter of fact, I'm going to go and grab myself a tasty beverage. And I don't know if it's gonna be tasty, but it's gonna be a beverage. BRB. Hey, sitting around waiting. Sitting around waiting. I'll have my tea, mate. Afternoon. Afternoon. And we sleep a bit. And we sleep a bit. And we sleep a bit. Yeah, let me see, check some. Let me see. Okay. Huku. Okay. 7 minutes in. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Let me get this tea situated, y'all. Don't be bashful. Say hey. Ooh. Ooh, don't want all that in there. He pulls up, he shoots. Yeah. The doggy's gonna come and eat the tea leaves. Dagnabbit. Oh well. And in other news, make sure you come to my story time page where I'm telling children's stories over there. Stories that all children would enjoy. Brother Theo is in the building, so it must be official. What up, bro? What up, bro? Hey, I was in your live early, man, but we had a client pull up, man. So I had to go do my administration thing. You know what I mean? Ain't no biggie. But I caught the sports portion. I might have to do like a rewatch or some of the other stuff, but I caught a lot of the sports portion. Like I was saying, it'd take about 4 or 5 years for the NFL to get enough film on you. So I don't think it's so much lies with the players or you know, anything like that. Because Tom Brady got how many and he was how old when he won the last one? Okay, I get it. They put him in the midst of some hitters, but at the same time, it's like you said, you know what I'm saying? You got the personnel around you, you could do it. That ain't necessarily he was well past his prime, wasn't he? Matter of fact, the last 2. So okay. All right. I got enough. Y'all done pulled up. And I know y'all sitting in here waiting on me for a long time. So I ain't gonna make you wait no more. All right. Like I told y'all, it's black people in Eternia. Andra. Okay. Now, there were a lot of things I liked about this book, and there were a lot of things that I didn't like about this book. I guess the first thing that I would say that I liked about this book, and the main reason I bought it, it's a thick sister on the cover. What's that about? let's pick that book up. Let's see what's going on there. You know what I mean? And the art ain't bad. You know what I'm saying? If you look at the art, you know what I'm saying? Sister girl looking, very sister girlish. I mean, they covered up the best part of her, or what we thought would be the best part. But anyways, looks just like the action figure. Story though, however, there is this guy named Count Marzo, and he's a sorcerer. And basically, there's this amulet that he wants to get a hold of, but he's trapped. And so he bewitches Duncan, the former master at arms, and he ends up sending Andra to Orcus Island, not to be confused with Orko, like I said. And one thing leads to another, but Duncan is there, but he's tied up on some rocks in the ocean. And I guess Marzo's a bit of a planner, and he's like, well, I know when Andra get here, she probably gonna be ready to scuffle. And that, ladies and gentlemen, she was, because Andra had a whole damn Andra buster. I mean, I don't know what to call it. Let's call it the Andra buster. But it didn't turn out to. It's dope. It looks dope. I need an action figure based on this. Dad Mattel, if you listening, look here. Y'all, I need an Andra buster or whatever it's called, a sorcerer buster, whatever that's called, whatever fancy little He-Man name y'all got for that. That's what y'all need. We need that. Now, it was able to hold its own against a sorcerer, and Marzo, it seems to be a pretty powerful sorcerer, and I assume he's going to be even more powerful once he gets a hold of this amulet. Of course, he gets a hold of the amulet for a second, but just like in the old days with the He-Man, series Masters of the Universe, there was a lesson to be learned in it. And I guess for Andra, the lesson she learned was not to 100% rely on tech, because that was her thing. She liked the tech. She depended too heavily on the tech, and the tech, as we know, can backfire on you. And that's literally what happened with Andra with her students. So, got to be that hero, right? The one that can do more than just be tech based, like Tony Stark. I'm sipping my tea. Look like y'all in the comments. Before I dive any deeper, let's see what's going on. Theo said he was, but they kept him around. Good cheap talent. When Tom wanted money, he left, but back to Eternia. Kamalyo King in the building. What's going on, Kamalyo? Good to see you. You say, why her action figure don't look like that? Bruh. We already know there is a market to be exploited with a line of realistic looking African American women. If they don't do it, fine. Stop begging them. That's where I'm at with it. I don't see no thick action figures. I don't see no buxom action figures. Guess what? We are on the cusp. We are on the cusp. We are on the cusp hold the course. All right. LJ Panther in the bed. What's going on? Say, look like Andra needs some tips and some hips. She did, LJ. It was just like if you watch Masters of the Universe back in the day, it was literally a Masters of the Universe episode. He-Man makes a little, you know what I'm saying? He-Man makes a little, you know what I'm saying, appearance, but we don't actually see it. We hear it, but we don't actually see it. I was talking about the action figure, LJ. Yeah, she thicker than peanut butter in the refrigerator, apparently. But what Theo and I was talking about is that's not reflected in her action figure. If I had to look at the action figure from behind and you put Tila next to her, there's literally no difference from an anatomical standpoint. And as we know, all women ain't built the same. So why y'all being cheap and making all of y'all women off of one maquette? This is a comic book review. Let me stop. We gonna move on to my man, Magnus Jakuta. Magnus Jakuta. That is an interesting in and of itself. It comes to us courtesy. Oh, by the way, Dark Horse did the Andra one shot. Okay. Tiffany Smith, Adriana Mello, Giuliano Paratelli, and World Design brought you this lovely one shot. It is a one shot. So that means there ain't gonna be no more Andra. Thanks, Dark Horse. Got a name like Dark Horse, but you won't ride the Dark Horse, so to speak. Anyways, back to Magnus Jakuta. Magnus Jakuta comes to us courtesy of Wise Acre Comics. I like that name because I know it has a dual meaning. Frederick Littles, Devin R. Scott, Bruno Abdias, and Edward Philip Bola on writing, pencils, and inks, and colors, and letters by Letter Squids. And Bruno Abdias did this lovely cover. Now, what's the deal with Magnus Jakuta? Okay, from what I can gather, or what I've read, in the universe of Magnus Jakuta, they do not just think that Black people are only on Earth. They in a whole nother solar system, and it's Black people in this solar system fighting and banging and chopping people up and kicking people's A's. It is, they're there. Let's put it like that. They're there. And this particular fella here in the forefront looks pretty scary. And he looked like he killing predators because he got green blood on his axe. But it's a different green-blooded species. But those other two are some pretty dangerous customers too, because well, you see, they tearing folks out the frame all together, and between the three of them, decimated the planet entire. What were they looking for? More like who? The who they was looking for? That cat right there, General Stamos. And now, as I read this book, I say to myself, what kind of abilities does General Stamos have? Now, listen to the abilities that General Stamos possesses. Heat vision, flight, kinetic energy, superhuman strength, kinetic combat. I'm assuming that's hand in hand. And vibrational force. Those were powers. And then he has abilities. He has the ability of regeneration, limited immortality, enhanced agility, spiritual communication, geokinetic transmutation, aerokinetic transmutation, and elemental fusion. That sounds like a tall order. But dope as General General Stamos sounds, this cat Blythe is bringing it to his dome. I mean, in a major way. They both, but we hear something go crack when he hits Stamos, so it's pretty clear he's a little more durable than General Stamos. Let's see. They got his power sets up in the back of the book too. Blythe's powers: fire control, heat manipulation, pyrokinetic constructs, superhuman strength, fire absorption, and firestorm creation. So he's a fire-based guy, clearly. Abilities, I don't see how that differs from powers, but it's your comic, Mr. Littles. Regeneration, limited immortality, infrared vision, thermal resistance, flight, superhuman stamina, and limited lightning speed. And he's a bad guy. But because he has regeneration, I am assuming that did not take him out. Now, he made a stone sword and drove it through Blythe. Nice. Anyway, though, unless we are in remiss, the star of this book, Magnus Jakuta himself, Stamos is trying to get him to recognize and realize his power. But he's kind of lunching. You know what I mean? He don't believe it. And those guys pull up and they end up actually killing Stamos. Now, I guess that's what's meant by limited immortality, because when Stamos goes, he takes out a whole city block. Folks panicking, crying about it. But Magnus lives through that, and he ends up in the hospital with a cop asking him questions about what you know about everybody getting killed. And he don't know nothing, because he don't know nothing. The last thing he was told by Stamos was that you need to find your father to unlock your full power. Now, if your full power can survive an explosion that takes out an entire city block, I mean, you ain't even at full power. And I mean, it took out the entire block. You know what I'm saying? Like an explosion that takes out an entire city block. That's a lot of space for an explosion. You know what I'm saying? And he ain't in full power yet. I really, really, really want this comic book to continue. You have a malevolent being who is clearly the leader of the bad guys, but Stamos was his brother. And on hearing that his brother died, all he had to say was, that's unfortunate. Then at the end, we see these people pop up. The one in front is clearly the Orisha Olakun, who can manifest themselves as male or female. I've read. They, as they are saying, She's given her subordinates the task of heralding a new hero, not only for mankind, but for them. So are they going to be, are they going to be Magnus's trainers? Are they going to be his benefactors? Is he going to have to kneel down and worship them? What, I mean, okay. But they dip back into the Jalia. But Olaroon has some stuff she still got to do outside of it because she doesn't want Olakun to find out what she's doing. Or Olaroon, excuse me. Olaroon, Olakun. There you go. I get Black New Gods energy from this book. It seems like there's levels. You know what I mean? You got like a base level, like a Mr. Miracle. Then you got that next level, which we'll say is like a Calabac, and then you got Orion and High Father and Dark Side up here. I mean, it's that same kind of, vibe. It seems like that's how this book is going to end up going down. It's going to be a lot of otherworldly stuff going on in the book, and that's all good and fine, but like I always say about, indie artists, and if there's any indie artists in here or anybody who considers themselves an indie artist, hear me out. I understand funding and financing and all of that's a process, but you know what I'm saying? Can we put something together that supports distribution? I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's Wiseacre. I don't care if it's Kingwood. I don't care if it's Godhood. I don't care if it's L7 Platform. I don't care who it is. We need to create a platform where this stuff can get distributed. Or maybe I'm not understanding how distribution works, because it's like for comics like Magnus Jakuta, I'll get an issue 1. All right, I'm reading the issue 1. I'm feeling it. I'm into your story. Then I get an issue 2. All right, and issue 2 kind of builds on what happened in issue 1. Might get an issue 3. Maybe an issue 4 and 5. I mean, and again, I want to read these stories. But if the funding is not there to continue it in perpetuity, then I wasted. I ain't even gonna say how much this book costs, but I understand the high cost because y'all gotta finance things. But don't be shocked when people aren't picking up the book, because it's 1, expensive as heck, and 2, you aren't giving me an entire storyline. And that's the biggest beef I have with a lot of indie comics. Not that they aren't good stories, not that they aren't well written, but you get me into a story and I'm ready to see the conclusion, and you're like, can't give you 9, 10, and 11 until we do a Kickstarter, fund everything. I understand. Trust me, I understand. But we got to find a more streamlined way of doing that. That will help a whole lot. And I'm not saying don't do indies. I'm all for indies. I'll be pushing them. So it's like, I ain't saying don't mess with them, but I'm saying it's got to be a better way to distribute them, or we got to create a better way to do it. I'm tired of talking about shit. I'm ready to do some stuff. You know what I mean? I'm tired of talking. I'm tired of talking. I'm tired of going over here talking to this person and that person about stuff they want to do. Damn it, let's do some stuff. Tired of being tired. You know what I'm saying? Let's do what we got in the comments. Folks in the comments talking. What are we talking about? Can you imagine walking around with that level of power, where you can survive an explosion of a city block? Yeah, I can imagine it. I could definitely imagine it. They can't get mad when you want more. Hell, you got me hooked. Bruh. And that's all I'm saying. I love the stuff. I love the antagonist. I love Tuskegee Airs. I love the Acolyte. I love all that stuff, man. But I need it more consistently. Is there a way we can create something to make that process more consistent? Or y'all just do 6 and then drop a trade paperback and you know what I'm saying, and wait to give us the rest. You know what I'm saying? Anansi's in the building. What's up, Anansi? Hollering at us all. What's going on? Nice to see you. Anansi said, I completely agree. Years ago, I bought an indie book called Super African by a musical artist, and I wanted to read more of it, but it was only a one shot to promote his new album. You know what? That's cool too. But tell me on that mug, it's a one shot. See what I'm saying? I ain't tripping. I'm not looking for no more Andra. You know what I'm saying? If I get more Andra, that's a bonus. But I'm not looking for Andra. And you telling me one shot, one and done. Cool. I can roll with that. I can totally and completely roll with that. But you know what I'm saying? You get my appetite all whetted for more of the story, and then there ain't no more. You know what I'm saying? I'm sitting here in limbo right now on Harriet Tubman. You know what I'm saying? It's like, man, I was in that. You know what I'm saying? And it just gone. I mean, I understand. Trust me, Dave, I understand. I'm just saying, bruh, you got me all excited. I'm all excited for the story. Even Rodney Barnes with Philadelphia. How long that story been in limbo? We've been on issue 35 for what? A year? Or did some shit get dropped and I didn't notice? Because I sure ain't seen the rest of it. You know what I'm saying? Things was tweaking up, even though y'all wasn't paying attention. Spawn pulled up. You know what I'm saying? Toussaint. Yeah, that Toussaint. The ended slavery in Haiti. That Toussaint pulled up, and he was on some Blade stuff. So yeah, man, like, y'all can't be breaking out these stories and then just they just disappear into thin air, and we don't get nothing else. I don't know. And then it takes so long. Boy, y'all better be coming back like gangbusters after a layoff of a year, 2 years, 5 years. Man, y'all better hit the ground running, and everything in that bitch better be rocking from cover to cover. That's that. I know I sound aggressive, fellas. I'm really not feeling aggressive. It's more passion. I feel passionate about getting the whole story. I feel passionate about seeing a story perpetuate. I want to see antagonists 8, 9, and 10. I want to see Acolyte 7 and 8. You know what I'm saying? I want to see these stories because I know y'all got some fantastic stories. These guys that make indie comics are some super talented cats. They have some great writers. They have some great artists. I want to see that stuff. Maybe I need to start a company or something. That's what Big Tone was doing over there with Advent. You know what I'm saying? We getting these books, but that's my thing. I'm getting these books, but it'll be like a 1 or 2. And what happened to 3? Why you stop? Don't stop. I want more. All right. Speaking of more, bruh, I've been waiting to talk about this for a minute. Absolute evil. Okay? That's a variant cover. This is the cover everybody got. Don't nobody care about no Deadpool and Batman. Who told y'all we wanted to see Deadpool and Batman? But yeah, there's that cover. That's the one everybody been looking at. Now, what is Absolute Evil about? A lot of stuff. I mean, it started off with a little bit of, you know what I'm saying, semi-action. But what we find out in the world of Absolute Evil is superheroes can be bought off. Carter Hall, Hawkman, rather than become the hero that we have known him to be, he is no more than a hired gun, or in his case, a hired mace, an enforcer for whom, you might ask. Okay, so glad you did. That is the cabal of the absolute universe that's effing up your world. On the left there, that is absolute Ra's al Ghul. And next to him is, of course, as she's introducing herself, Veronica Cale. We know Veronica Cale in the prime DC universe as a Thorn and Wonder Woman side. The lady next to her, Dr. Thawne. Yeah, that should be pretty self-explanatory. Thawne, yeah, you know what's coming. That guy on the far right, the Joker. And he don't find shit funny. And of course, Hector Hammond, whose back is to us. They are the ones that go after people like Oliver Queen, who wants to make a difference with his bow and arrow. That's Oliver Queen on Carter's shoulder. See his mace? That's the difference he made. They are not playing in this new universe. Don't pull up unless you want that smoke or get paid off. But these folks refuse to get paid off. Absolute Green Lantern, Flash, and Martian Manhunter refused to got paid off. Wonder Woman refused to got paid off. Batman refused to got paid off. Superman refused to got paid off. But you know what the ironic thing about all of it is? In this universe, maintaining evil and corruption at all costs seems to be the status quo. Because as long as we are evil and corrupt, we thrive. We don't need no do-gooders coming in and effing up all our operations. So we either gonna pay them off or we gonna bump them off. Wesley Dodds, the original Sandman, found that out the hard way. And now, so much in this comic do they believe that theirs is the good and right way that the world should be. They have the unmitigated gall in this universe to call themselves the Justice League. And that's if you ever watched the episode of Super Friends, you already know that's the Hall of Justice. Ra's al Ghul, Veronica Cale, Dr. Thawne, Hector Hammond, and the Joker in the Hall of Justice as the Justice League. I kind of said to myself, it reminds me of the crime syndicate world. You know what I mean? Where crime is the status quo that is maintained. But at the end of this book, we see Alexander Luthor. I show him to you here. And he got all his hair. Now, what I'm thinking is Lex Luthor gonna be that dude that's like the lone, you know what I'm saying, when he should be a bad guy? Or is he really a bad guy? I don't know. Absolute Evil has my curiosity piqued, and since it is coming from DC Comics, I know I'm gonna get a run on it, and they ain't gonna conk out at a crucial moment. I'll actually get to see, or the funding ain't gonna run out on DC. At least we hope the funding don't run out on DC, and we get something nice. So, comments. What, you said not much is up? Yeah, you been reading these comics? Oh, y'all saying what's up to each other? Never mind. Now, I told y'all last week that after I was done doing my review on the regular ranking file, I was gonna take y'all back a little bit. Now, as y'all know, your man got quite a few OG bangers that I've held on to over the years. Some have helped me finance this beautiful facility that you see me sitting in. So it's a real thing, y'all. Know how to move and shake these books. Know what books you looking for and what books you can pass up on. That's gone. You know what I mean? Net you a little something. I'm working on some stuff. I'm working on some stuff. Trust me. We ain't gonna delve into it, but I just wanted to show it to you and show y'all that I had it. That, yes, that is Luke Cage, Hero for Hire, #1. That is an original copy. It's, I would say, in about fine condition. It's pretty decent, but it's got a few little, you know what I'm saying, little bends, little striations here and there. I would say it's just like something like maybe a high 7, low 8, maybe even 7. I say like a 7.5 or 8. It's in decent condition. And in even better condition. Okay, now Tales of the Teen Titans #1 is not the first appearance of Cyborg, but it is the first appearance of Cyborg in a solo story. So I would wager to say this comic holds more value than the DC Presents that him, Raven, and Starfire appearing in their first appearances. Kamoyo says he wonders what villains will pop up in Absolute Evil. Shit, all of them, hopefully. LJ, you say it would be cool if I did a little mini class on how to collect. You know what? Bet. Bet. Bet I will do that. I will do. Matter of fact, I'm gonna pull out the agenda. Yes, I have an agenda. Video. And that would be a good thing because anime right now, and well, not anime, excuse me, manga seems to be ascendant right now, and a lot of people are kind of starting to turn their backs. Well, not starting, but turning their backs on comics. And it's like, so now it's like, all right, we don't need comics. You know, we got these movies to hold us down. But that's like saying, I got this whole piece of cake. Oh, or I got this whole cake and I just want a sliver. Not even a whole piece. Why you got the cake if you ain't gonna, eat it? But yeah, appreciate that, LJ. I will definitely put some stuff together, some things to look out for, some things to not look, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I will most definitely do that. Also, first ever appearance of one John Stewart. So I got some stuff. If you give me a little time, I can go dig out some stuff that'll buck your eyeballs, to say the least. But yeah, we just sitting around. Just this little stack right here. I promise. After I show y'all this little stack, I'm gonna go ahead and get into the little classic Luke Cage story that I told y'all I was gonna get into. But first, not the best copy, but it's a copy. Last I checked, climbing in price, not dropping. Always a good thing. It's almost like stocks and bonds. You know what I mean? It's a good time to sell and it's a good time to hold, but you got to know. I cannot believe I was just about to say some Kenny Rogers lyrics. You got to do with it. This one I'm kind of on the fence about. Dynamite. Didn't even know Black Dynamite had a comic book, did you? Surprise! And of course, it's upside down. Oh, it's upside down. How did it get in there upside down? That is nuts. Oh, the bottom fell out. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, anyway, we got this baby from 89. One shot. But they didn't say it was a one shot. Ooh, diabolical. This comic book here, I did a video on this. Woke black superhero, check Superman. And Superman felt so bad about it that He didn't even want to go around, dude. It wasn't that he didn't want smoke, but dude hit him with all that woke truth. My man pulled up and was like, "What is Superman doing in Harlem?" And his powers set is such. Density control. I can make you heavy. I can make you light. I can make myself heavy. I can make myself light. So he's kind of like a woke vision. And guess what his name is, y'all? Muhammad X. I took the name of my two heroes. Woo-wee. Superman didn't have no words for him. He was steady checking Superman with that woke talk, bruh. And that's why I feel like this book, Superman 179 from 2002, with all the incorrect woke talk, fight the power. Indeed. It's a good read. It's actually pretty, and it's a self-contained story. You don't have to go and read 9-10 issues to get the gist of it. All right, now on to our old school story. Now, back in the day, before you met, you turned Luke Cage Power Man into Power Man and Iron Fist and Heroes for Hire. It was just Luke Cage Power Man. And Luke Cage would deal with a series of stereotypical, bordering on ridiculous, potentially racist sounding named villains. But guess what? Luke Cage had a rogues gallery. Luke Cage had the spear. Luke Cage had the mangler. Luke Cage had the cockroach. Luke Cage had Mr. Luck / Mr. Death. Luke Cage has Steeplejack. Luke Cage has Stiletto and Discus. Luke Cage had Chemistro. Lot of rogues gallery Luke Cage had, and it's like, where did all them cats go? I think the Scourge murdered a bunch of them. But he had a rogues gallery. He was a black superhero with a rogues gallery. Oh, and let's not forget Bushmaster. Am I supposed to say pause when I say that? Anyway, cut from the mold of Bushmaster, before Bushmaster, mind you, was Cornell Cottonmouth. Cornell Cottonmouth made his debut in the pages of Luke Cage Power Man 19. Now, Cornell Cottonmouth was exactly like Cornell Cottonmouth on the Netflix series, except he was as strong as Luke Cage. How do we know he was as strong as Luke Cage? Well, let me pull this baby out and show you. This is, by the way, a comic book from 1975. Not in the best of condition. Got a little damage right there. Dagnabbit. But nevertheless intact. Runs into these cats named Mike and Ike. Mike and Ike tell him, my boss want to meet you. Luke Cage is like, F off. They send him a box of snakes. But they don't know the snakes can't penetrate Luke Cage's skin. So he takes the snakes and ties their asses up in knots. Mike and Ike come back like, hey, what's up with you? Nothing. Luke Cage beats their asses and take them back to Cornell Cottonmouth, who gets a whole page with his snazzy green outfit on. I am actually making a custom Cottonmouth, so stay tuned. He goes to swing on Cottonmouth. Cottonmouth catches his hand. Now, if you are strong enough to stop a haymaker from Luke Cage, you're a pretty strong guy. But where Cornell Cottonmouth excels is at his ability to manipulate. And he manipulates Cage into joining the gang of this cat named Morgan Edge. And Morgan Edge is a heroin dealer. And Luke Cage joins his gang and watches all of this heroin sales go down and all of this kind of stuff. And he can't stand it. And he finally calls the police to have them come in, when he comes, supposedly tries to come to the rescue and clean everything up. And at the end of the book, they got a damn bazooka waiting on Luke Cage. They like, we finna hit this cat with a bazooka. Y'all gonna shoot Luke Cage with a bazooka. Well, back in 1974, maybe that's what you had to do to take Luke Cage's butt out. But is Luke Cage gonna allow that to happen? Do y'all think Luke Cage is going to allow that to happen? Well, a funny little thing used to happen in the 70s. They had this little thing called cover art. And I think they still do it to this very day, but you could put some stuff in cover art that don't even happen in the book ever. This scene right here on the cover, help y'all out. I got it in a $3 bag. It didn't cost me $3. Boy, it didn't cost me $3. Anyway, issue number 20, in a lot better shape. All right. He's getting bazookaed on the cover. There are people in this comic book with bazookas, but it ain't Cornell Cottonmouth. And he does not get blasted out of a window with a bazooka in this comic book. Cover art. They like to do that shit back in the day. Now, Luke Cage manages to charge these cats and knock them down. He never gets shot with a bazooka. Not one time. He gets shot a lot with guns, but never with a bazooka. Bottom line, ends up double-crossing Edge, brings Edge's dope to Cornell Cottonmouth, and Cornell Cottonmouth distributed, and he hates that the Cornell is distributed, but he calls the police on him. Cornell Cottonmouth ain't happy about that. He like, Luke Cage, I'm about to kick yo. And they fighting, bro. Luke Cage and Cornell Cottonmouth are going at it. He need Luke Cage in the stomach, and Luke Cage felt it. Luke Cage kicked him across a room, and he got back up. He threw Luke Cage's ass through a wall. Now, I understand back in the 70s, Luke Cage was not nearly as powerful as he is now. But he wasn't no punk. As far as street level concerned, he had that handled. But Cornell Cottonmouth gave Molly can handle and then some. And he was trying to find books, you know what I'm saying, of Cottonmouth's drug dealings. And one of Cottonmouth's boys came up from behind, stabbed Luke Cage. And Luke Cage ended up socking Cottonmouth, knocking him into this dude, and dude falls out the window. Turns out that dude who fell out the window was his bookkeeper, and he kept everything in his head. So with him dead, you ain't got nothing but drugs sitting around. It all in all, it was a very hood, gangstered out kind of story. Something that could be enacted quite easily with the help of some action figures. Yeah, maybe we'll do that sometime soon. I got to get me some hooligans, some thugs. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of hooligans and thugs in this book. You know what I mean? Who is that? It's just M. Bison. Anyways, so yeah, y'all, make sure that you tune in Thursday. Let me get these joints. LJ said, I want a Falcon figure in every outfit. What about that one? We got that one. Original. That's them ball joints. So you know it's from like 2006, 2007, some of those. But other than that, I wonder if I could get a hold of one of these and paint it red. What was the colors? Green and tan. A green and tan one. Because they don't have a green and tan Falcon outfit. I mean, they got the high tech one that, you know, Joaquin uses, but they don't this, you know. Excuse me. This is what we need. We need this costume right here. And with a bird red wing, not no damn whatever that is they thought we wanted. Oh, talking about the Superman character, like the character Hiram from Wild Cards. Density control is one heck of, yeah, it is. Morgan Edge is a dope villain name like Dante Furno or Rodrigo Heat. Yeah. Exactly. I have two, Theo. I have two. Star Boy from Legion of Superheroes. I have that. Remember, I showed y'all. I got Star Boy and I just got Damage. So that's back to back full face mask heroes. Yeah, that Star Boy is nice. Maybe I'll pull it out, let y'all see it tomorrow on Thursday Live. LJ say misleading covers get on nerves. What you say? Honestly, I don't have one Falcon. Say that green one is player. Okay. Well, you need to get started, homie. I tell you what. I got a few Falcon figures. When I get the 1,000 subs, Holla at me. I see if I can move something your way. So I had a couple of Falcon figures. A couple of those ones that he wore in Avengers Assemble when his mama always used to come to Avengers Tower and bring cookies and stuff, which I thought was hella corny. Speaking of green, still got my Diabolical. I love that. I love that character. That character. That's awesome. He's very villainous looking, isn't he? He has all the earmarks of a villain. I would love to take this off and get a cloth cape. It would look so much better, and he would flow. I'm gonna do it. Matter of fact, I might even just he look dope without the cape. Period. Yeah, he would look dope without a cape. He doesn't need no cape. I don't need no stinking cape. I am the villain. Well, y'all, that has been the review. I am glad y'all stopped through. Join me next Wednesday when I will be reviewing new books, new classics. And LJ, keep your eyes peeled. Him and Doom in a versus. Mm. 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 We'll have to see about that. We'll have to see about that. Y'all are. I like that. I like that. I like that. We see what happened. Look here, y'all. That has been it for Comics Deep Dive Live with your man D Real. Make sure y'all join me Thursday, 24 hours from now, 24 roughly, where we'll be talking about news and stuff you can use, comics, action figures, all that. You're going to get that. But as for now, I got to dip because I got some stuff to do, and don't y'all trip. I will be back. That's it for now. But I'll be coming at y'all with another one of them other ones. And until I do, y'all be good and be good to each other. Thank y'all for coming. I'm sideways.